move to this story, and it's a rather unpleasant moment of irony, perhaps. The Commission of Inquiry into the Marshalltown fire, which left over 70 people dead, has had to be adjourned indefinitely. This is because the building hosting the inquiry was found to be non-compliant with certain safety bylaws. That a commission set up in part to probe how safety laws were flouted at a hijacked building is now itself concerning in terms of safety compliance. It's really very troubling. The problem apparently picked up by Joburg's Chief of Emergency Services, and I'm joined now by Advocate Thulani Makhubele, who speaks for the Commission. Advocate, thank you so much for joining us. Advocate, can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Good evening, Sally.
Good evening. All right. Sorry, I can hear you now. Could you take us through what safety is not, what safety concerns there are about the building where the inquiry was being held, and what building are we talking about?
Well, the building that we are talking about is one at Park. I think it's called Parktown Sunnyside Office Park. And it is a building, I think we were occupying Block C of those office blocks for purposes of the inquiry. So, Sally, just to take you through what has happened, obviously after our appointment, the Gauteng provincial government went out to look for premises at which we could host the inquiry itself. And they had a look at various options that they had on the table. And as a result of the search exercise, they came up with the building that was at Sunnyside Office Park, Block C. Now, there are a number of criteria that the people that were looking for the building had to follow. And there's a whole host of things that the buildings that we were supposed to be allocated had to comply with. Now, it is issues of security, it is issues of...
Sorry to push you, but I wonder, Advocate, if you could just get to the point of exactly what the problem was with this particular building.
So the problem with this particular one, the emergency management services of the city of Johannesburg, I think a day after we had commenced with the public hearings, came to us and said the number of people that we had in the venue itself was too much. It was exceeding the number that is required of a venue of that particular size, and the number was 25. So they were limiting the hearing to 25. And just to take you briefly, 25 was basically reached by the legal representatives that were there, the number of media that were there.
I'm with you. So it was way too small in terms of... And that's a problem, because if there is a fire, was there an issue of how many exit points there were as well?
Yes, there was an issue of how many exit points there was as well. We had initially thought we would have an overflow, but due to some administrative issues, that overflow was not secured. So they raised that particular issue, and subsequent to that, they then served a notice of compliance, I think it is called, and they basically indicated to us that we should cease with the activities.
So if it's the Gauteng, sorry to jump in, if it's the Gauteng provincial government who were looking for premises for you, then surely it's the Gauteng provincial government who erred in not covering all the safety bases and not making sure that the venue was big enough in terms of safety compliance and fire exits.
Well, I was not part of that particular process, so I'm unable to ascribe an apportion blame to anybody. Those that were looking into this issue would possibly be better off responding to that particular.
What is going to happen now with this inquiry? Because, you know, when you and I chatted last week, you explained that it had already been a month-long delay. This must be frustrating, and I would suggest somewhat embarrassing for the inquiry that's looking into safety matters, has now had to shut down because of a safety concern at the very building that it was hosting its inquiry. How soon will you be up and running again? Has a new venue been found?
Well, I think the new venue has been secured. There are just a couple of tests that need to be conducted at that particular venue. There's also issues of compliance that needs to be looked into. But a new venue has been secured. As soon as all of those have been looked at and have been found satisfactory, we will then announce through a directive from the chairman of the commission. It is slightly ironic that we had to vacate premises as a result of an issue similar to the one that we are actually investigating. And I must say, we taken aback a bit, but it is what it is. We don't think the delay is going to be that long. The venue seems to have been secured already. We actually will be going to view it, I think, on Thursday morning, after which we'll then announce the new date of the commencement of the hearings.
All right. Thank you so much for updating us. Really appreciate your time. Advocate Thulani Makhubele, he speaks for the Commission of Inquiry into that Albert Street fire that left over 70 people dead at the end of August. Now,